Many people believe that addiction is simply a failure of willpower, a moral weakness, or a series of bad choices. This is one of the most persistent and damaging myths we have. The truth is far more complex and rooted in the very biology of our brains. Addiction is not a character flaw. It is a profound change in the brain's structure and function. Our brain is a remarkable organ designed for learning and survival. It is wired to seek out pleasure and repeat actions that feel good, a fundamental process that ensures we eat, drink, connect with others. When this system is hijacked by powerful substances or behaviors, the journey into addiction begins. Understanding this is the first step towards compassion and effective solutions. At the core of this process is the brain's reward system, a network of interconnected regions responsible for processing pleasure, motivation, and learning. Think of it as the brain's internal teacher, guiding us toward beneficial behaviors. When we experience something enjoyable, like eating a delicious meal or receiving praise, this system releases a chemical messenger called dopamine. Dopamine doesn't just create a feeling of pleasure, it sends a powerful signal to the brain that says, "This is important. Pay attention. Remember this and do it again." This mechanism is crucial for our survival, driving us to repeat actions necessary for life. It's a beautifully simple system that works perfectly well under normal circumstances, but it has a critical vulnerability. The problem arises when substances like drugs, alcohol, or even certain intense behaviors like gambling enter the picture. These sources provide a shortcut to the reward system, flooding it with levels of dopamine far beyond what natural rewards can produce. This overwhelming surge creates an intense feeling of euphoria, a powerful high that the brain immediately registers as an event of extreme importance. It's like turning up the volume on a stereo from a comfortable listening level to a deafening blast. The brain's learning circuits are powerfully activated, forging a strong connection between the substance or behavior and this immense feeling of reward, compelling the individual to seek it out again and again with increasing urgency. This initial powerful experience sets the stage for a fundamental shift in the brain's priorities. The prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain located just behind our forehead, acts as our executive control center. It is responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and weighing the long-term consequences of our actions. It's the voice of reason that might tell you not to eat a second piece of cake. In the early stages of substance use, this control center can still override the desire for the reward. However, as the brain is repeatedly exposed to the intense dopamine floods, the balance of power begins to change. The drive from the reward system grows stronger and more demanding, while the influence of the prefrontal cortex weakens, making it progressively harder to say no. The repeated pursuit of that dopamine surge doesn't just weaken our self-control, it actively rewires the brain to form powerful automatic habits. Our brains are incredibly efficient, always looking for ways to conserve energy. When we perform an action over and over, the brain automates it, moving control from the thoughtful prefrontal cortex to deeper, more primitive areas responsible for habit formation, like the basal ganglia. This is why you can drive a familiar route home from work without consciously thinking about every turn. The action has become an ingrained habit. This process is neutral. It works for learning to play the piano just as it works for learning to use a substance. When substance use becomes repetitive, this same habit-forming machinery takes over. The brain creates a powerful loop. A cue or trigger seeing a specific person, feeling stressed, leads to a craving, which drives the routine using the substance, which results in the reward, the dopamine high. Over time, this loop becomes so entrenched that it can be activated with minimal conscious thought. The person isn't necessarily making an active choice to use each time. Rather, they are responding to a powerful, conditioned habit that their brain has learned is essential for feeling good, or simply for feeling normal. The most important message from the science of addiction is one of hope. Because the brain can change in response to substances, it can also change in response to recovery. The brain's ability to adapt and form new connections, neuroplasticity is the key to healing. Recovery is an active process of rewiring the brain, weakening the old destructive pathways, building new healthy ones. This doesn't happen overnight. It requires time, effort, and a supportive environment, but change is absolutely possible. Treatment is not about punishing someone for their addiction. It's about providing the tools and support to help their brain heal. Recovery often involves a combination of approaches tailored to the individual. Support systems are another critical component of lasting recovery. Addiction often thrives in isolation, but healing happens in community. Engaging in new hobbies, exercise, and meaningful work also helps create new sources of natural dopamine. If you or someone you know is struggling, the most important step is to reach out for help. This is not a battle to be fought alone.